notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Recommend motion to approve the December 10th agenda. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Recommend motion to approve the following minutes. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to board presentations from George A. Mitchell, Volunteer of the Month, Jean Laforte.
She was not able to make it tonight. I'll make her change.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
From Frog Pond Elementary, Volunteer of the Month, Angela Thompson.
Hi, is Angela here? She wasn't like that.
From George J. Mitchell School Update, Peyton Smith and Julianne Platty, third grade students.
Oh, here they come.
Jode.
My name is David Smith, and my name is Brian. We are third grade students from the Skyline third grade class. The students at George J. Mitchell School are learning about the importance of recycling. We learned about the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle from the Mr. Unsworth Assembly Program. Now we are collecting plastic bags to be recycled into a Trex deck bench for our school. The third grade students are involved in collecting and weighing the bags to see how close we are to earning the bench.
We recently began our mitten tree program. Families were asked to send in hats and mittens to donate to those in need. This program has been very successful so far, and we can't thank everyone enough for all of those donations. Thank you to Mrs. May and Mrs. Reinecke for organizing this program.
Ms. Glock's, Mr. DeMaro's, Ms. Crispers, and Mrs. Chavarro's classes enjoyed a trip to the Ocean County College Planetarium on December 4th. They saw cardboard rocket ship laser light show and absolutely loved it.
The George J. Mitchell School wishes you a wonderful holiday season and a very happy New Year.
Have a wonderful evening.
The school store is up and running at the Frog Pond School. Families are invited to stop in during conferences, and students will be able to shop during their lunch time. Items include pencils, erasers, bookmarks, pens, slime, fidget spinners, and more. Personalized Frog Pond items will be available soon. Items priced 25 cents to $5. Frog Pond's Mixed Teachers Night was held on November 20th. Over $600 was raised for our school, and the staff and students that attended had a great time. Our school mentor program is growing. As of November 9th, we have matched we have matched 9 mentors with 9 students. More will be starting soon. Mentors playing games, making crafts, building wood projects, or just chatting with students about their likes and dislikes. Our mentors are a very valuable part of this school process, and we are so happy to have them.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Moving on to Students of the Month from George A. Mitchell, Mrs. Guinan, Principal.
You talk pretty loud.
Sorry to that. First up, Sophia Kofer from Mrs. Gallivan's
kindergarten class. Sophia is an absolute joy to have in the classroom. She is helpful, kind, and has a positive attitude toward all aspects of school. Sophia is very considerate of her classmates and helps them without being asked. She is a wonderful role model in our classroom, and I feel so lucky to have her as a student. Congratulations, Sophia. Next up, Michaela Tanis from Mrs. Tedeschi's first grade class. I'll read a little something about Michaela. We are very fortunate to have Michaela in our class. Michaela is a thoughtful, friendly, and responsible student. She is someone we all count on to lend a helping hand, say a kind word, and follow our school rules. Michaela works hard and keeps a positive attitude. She is a true role model for her friends. Way to go, Michaela. Addison Fawcett from Miss Morgan's second grade class. Woo! Congratulations, Addison. Addison is a pleasure to have in class. Her attitude is always bright and cheerful, and she wears a smile wherever she goes. Need help with something? Addison is right there to give you a hand. Feel sick? Addison is there to walk you to the nurse or give you a pep talk. She is a great friend and responsible and mature beyond her years. Every day with Addison is a great day, and I'm very fortunate to have her as a student. Congratulations, Addison. Gabrielle Hogarth from Mrs. Grisbart's second grade class. Go on up. We are so fortunate to have Ellie as part of our class. She arrives each morning with a smile on her face, ready to start the day. She is kind, considerate, and always willing to help out in any way. Ellie's positive attitude and energy are contagious, and she always puts forth her best effort. Congratulations, Ellie. And Brielle Hartley from Mrs. Murphy's third grade class. Pleasure. She is not only kind and respectful, but is also conscientious and a hard worker. Brielle brings a positive attitude and curiosity that is contagious in our classroom. Brielle is eager to learn and never hesitates to ask questions. We are all lucky to have her in our class. Congratulations.
Not Mr. Lusty. We're good. We're good. Anybody else? Congratulations.
Now, Mr. Troy Anderson.
Okay, first up we have Morgan Tyhan, Mr. Wood's class. Morgan is a kind, soft-spoken student who resembles what is best about Frog Pond students. She comes to school every day with a positive attitude. She works very hard. Beyond that, she works to be better each day at her schoolwork, and her behavior leads by example. Great job, Morgan. Next up, we have Anna Skelly from Ms. Cook's class. It is with great pleasure that Ms. Cook nominates Anna Skelly for December's Student of the Month. Anna arrives at school every day with a smile and ready to learn. She's kind, caring, and friendly, which makes her a role model for her classmates. She tackles new challenges seriously and with a positive attitude. We are so proud of all her efforts. You're an amazing student, Anna, and you truly shine. Next, we have Emma O'Brien. Emma O'Brien is an ideal student. She always has a smile and a positive attitude. She enters homeroom each day prepared for her classes then immediately asked if there's anyone or anything she could do to help. Emmett is willing to help others when feeling confident, but knows when to slow down and ask questions to ensure her own understanding. She is a pleasure to have in class. Great job, Emmett. And in 6th grade, Annalise Ryder, are you here? Annalise has Miss Massa, and Miss Massa writes, "I am honored to nominate Annalise Ryder for Student of the Month. I've known Annalise for just a few months. She had a few obstacles to overcome. Annalise had surgery, was confined to a wheelchair, then was using crutches. Once she was cleared from her crutches, her beautiful smile was much bigger, and she had a skip in her step. She has a good sense of humor and arrives to school every day with a smile. Congratulations, Anna."
Cookies up there and milk, so please stop and grab some.
Congratulations. Thank you. A little late for that. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Okay, from CDA presentation, Mrs. Ann.
Hi, how are you? I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about a year ago. We entered into a partnership with the Ocean Inc. Headfirst Corporation, and in doing so, we were required to have our paraprofessional CDA certified. So I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about what that meant to my staff. The CDA is a national credentialing program, which is a professional development program for educators who are working with children birth through age 5 years of age. And it was a pretty extensive program, and it assesses the candidates using multiple sources of evidence and an exam in which they had to go online, and observation in the classroom, and professional portfolio with resources. So in the education portion of the program, they had to spend at least 120 hours in 8 subject areas, including healthy learning environment, physical and intellectual development, social and emotional development, building productive relationships with families, maintaining a commitment to professionalism, observing children's behavior, understanding principles of child development and learning, and effective program operation. In addition to all of that, the paraprofessionals had to take a first aid and CPR certification course. And then once the education was complete, they needed to build their professional portfolio, which included documentation of all of the training that they had done, completed family questionnaires, which were rather extensive. Each paraprofessional had to write 6 reflective statements of competence across those 8 areas of education. They had to develop a resource collection, and then also write a professional philosophy statement. Once all of that was completed, we did schedule for a 2-hour observation with a PD specialist, and then that was followed by a one-on-one discussion. The observation took place in the classroom while our paraprofessionals were interacting with children. And then once all of that was complete, they had to take a 65 multiple choice question exam and 5 scenario questions. And just to point out again, that this was a year-long process. The paraprofessionals dove right in, some of which had not been in a classroom in over 25, 35, maybe 40 years. So I just wanted to publicly congratulate them on the hard work that they've done. And then also, while I have your attention, I wanted to publicly announce that we are considered a full program right now. So there are no eligible general education spots in the preschool program, and we're operating with a wait list. So in doing these types of programs and in working towards our high quality 5-star rating, this is how we get there with our full program. So I'm very excited to share that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, technology update, Mr. James Bond and Mrs. Martucci.
Hello everybody. Before I hand you over to your main event tonight, I just want to tell you that a little bit about our new shared service, our new tech team, your new tech team. My name is James Bond. I've been doing the non-British James Bond. I've been doing technology for about 35 years, 23 at Pines. Your new tech team is made up of 4 people from Little Egg and 4 people from Pines, 4 techs from each school. Together, we provide support for over 4,000 users in 14 buildings in 4 districts. We have daily 7,000 devices that connect to our network. And since September, that's 4 months, we've closed 3,500 tickets. So we won't go over those tickets today, but I'll tell you some of the highlights that we did over the summer and into this new year. We've installed 30 new access points, that's Wi-Fi access points. We distributed 200 Chromebooks for the T-Mobile grant to the 6th graders. We've installed some alerting systems to let us know about climate and power problems in the server rooms. And we've also installed some systems on your network so we can tell if there's going to be problems before they happen. We've identified some critical points around the district, and we've installed UPSs so that in an emergency, the power goes out, we can maintain systems. And we replaced both your email archiver and your backup servers. So there's a lot more that we've done over the year. In the future, over the next year or so, we're going to continue that trend, and we're going to install some new anti-malware. We've identified a few little tweaks, and we're going to make some security updates. And then we're going to increase your storage space on your network and upgrade a couple of the servers. So with that, I hand you over to Terry, and let's get some exciting stuff.
In July, we implemented a new across-the-board system with Blackboard. It's a company that provides us with our new website, which was launched in July, a new mass notification system, a mobile app, social media manager, and now we will be ADA compliant. I apologize, because I'm nervous. When you first access the website, if we have anything pertinent, for instance, it's a snow day, you will get this notification. Once you click OK, I've got it, it goes away, it goes down in that little corner down there, and you can always pull it up and see what our alerts are, and this is what our website looks like. I'm sure you visited it, because here are our statistics. We've had almost 34,000 people visit our website since July. Page views, almost 50,000, and targeted visits are almost 30,000, and targeted would be, they were looking for something specific and then they Googled it and they got it. The new Blackboard mass notification system can be accessed 2 different ways, and the notifications are sent out by voice, text, email, the LEHSD app, which I'll talk about in a minute, Facebook and Twitter. And I also received a report saying who got it, who hung up on me, whatever. The new app is, this is my most exciting part, and I won't talk about it forever because I did with James earlier, and he says, no, you gotta stop. We have two apps. One is for administrators, and the other one is the public app. And the public app will be available on the Google Play Store and in the App Store. And there are 2 pages to it. The first page has notifications, student info, which the parents will be able to access for their child and personalize it for their child, and news. The second page has all of these things, which you can read. I won't read them to you. My favorite one is pay lunch balance because I'm always in the red. So I'm able to pay, and lunch menus, I can see what I want to eat or I don't. And you can see the adult menus as well as the student menus. The only thing I'm going to tell you about is the tip line. I could talk about the other things, but the tip line, parents or anyone in the community that has the app has the ability to report something. Whether it be bullying, they have something nice to say about somebody, vandalism, weapons, anything. It's automatically anonymous. They can uncheck mark anonymous and they can make it with their name, but that's totally up to them. Right now, the app is in beta, which means testing phase, and it'll be available for the general public by January 1st. We have 6 users right now, and they are testing it for me. We have an administrator, a teacher, a community member, and a parent, and James and I, and we are working the bugs out, and we are confident that it is ready to go live. And that's it. Unless you have any questions.
All right, moving on. Report of the superintendent.
Seconds first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll be quick.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so, facilities department. Recently we had a facilities assessment done by our architect, which identified long-term and short-term projects. Some of the long-term projects that are significant that we'd like to focus on are replacing exterior doors, windows, and HVAC equipment. We also have a lot of routine and short-term projects we're going to focus on this school year. Some of those projects include rebuilding the cover for a meter on the Fox Pond Field, fixing the drainage by the administration area, and restriping the driveways and parking lots at all. Any questions?
Yeah, well, some of the projects I have some striker, you gonna do striker yourself?
Yeah, we have a striper.
So do I.
Okay. Well, we could always use the second one. We got a lot of parking lots.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Ed.
you.
Thank you.
Dr. Cooley.
Winter concert is December the 18th at Frog Pond School at 6 o'clock. Many thanks to all the staff and administrative team that assisted families in the holiday season by purchasing gifts and donating food for baskets for families in our district who are having a difficult time. Early dismissal will be December 21st for students and staff. Dismissal for Mitchell and Frog Pond is 1:05 and ACC is 1:15. Winter recess begins Monday the 19th and school will reopen on January 2nd. We will have our board reorg meeting January the 3rd, 4:45 in this room. During this meeting, the Board of Education will approve the meeting schedule for the 2019 school year. After our meeting tonight, actually at 6:30 tonight, the Pineland School District is having their final strategic planning meeting. Does affect our Little Egg residents because our students will be attending Pinelands. So if you'd like to leave this meeting and head over there, you are more than welcome. And last, I would like to recognize and thank Mr. Jim Becker for 3 years of service on the board. His last board meeting is tonight. And Mr. Molesky for 8 years of service on our board. And I do have a plaque for you. So Mr. Jalio, if you wouldn't mind, this is Matt's, I believe. And here's Jim's. You want to take a, is Terry here? Is she leaving? You want to take a picture with the plaque? Is Terry still here? James, can you take a picture? welcome, thank you. I would say I miss you, but I see what time it is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. James is gonna take your picture, yeah? Actually, yeah. Thank you. That's all right.
All right, moving on to residence forum, agenda items only, please. Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express with each statement made by participant limited to 3 minutes as cited in policy number 0167. The public may comment on any item on the agenda at this time. General public comment will occur later in the meeting. Anyone like to comment on the agenda items?
My name is Christine Snyder, 7 Lippincott Drive, Little Lake. I was curious about the new hire of item G, Mr. Jonathan Yates, Assistant School Business Administrator, beginning on February 19th.
Sure. I was actually going to talk about that during Board of the Whole, but I have no problem doing that now. So our new hire for an assistant BA tonight is replacing Ms. Facemeyer. Unfortunately, she's retiring. She actually moved her retirement a few times for us. She's retiring the end of March. He's starting the end of February. So he is replacing not only her, we have 2 other retirements that are happening in our business office. So instead of replacing 3 bodies of personnel, he'll replace her and some of the other duties amongst those 3 positions. So that's part of it. The other part is we are still in the process of moving ahead with the shared BA contract with Mr. Brown. We're ironing out the details with the county office. So Mr. Brown will be shared amongst the 2 districts, and a portion of the assistant business administrator's salary will be shared with Pinelands as well.
So we've always had an assistant BA in the district.
It was Ann. It just wasn't the title.
Anyone else? All right, moving on to board work session.
Audit discussion, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, this is just a notice to the board. Typically, we certify the audit by December 5th. There's a rule, GASB, which is the Government Accounting Standards Board, made a change to GASB Form 75, which is post-employment benefits. So what this change did is it delayed the completion of audits of all districts around New Jersey. So we're still going to certify the audit by the 21st as is statutorily required. But you'll notice that the motion language is different this time. It typically says we're approving the audit, no recommendations, but because the audit's not complete, we're approving the portion that's done right now, and we're going to leave it open to confirm once the final report is done. It'll be approved by the board again with no recommendations or findings. But that is our expectation. We had talked to the auditor today. There's no recommendations, no findings. It's just a statewide delay in this regulatory change.
ESIP?
The other thing that we wanted to talk about with everybody is an ESIP project, which is an energy saving improvement project. So these would look at things like lighting, solar renewable energy, HVAC updates, things like that. And I know this is something that we've talked a lot about. The first step of that was getting the architects out to do their review. And Seth touched on that a little bit earlier. Part of their review identified really significant opportunities to pursue one of these energy saving improvement plans. The biggest thing at this is you don't take on new debt. You're gonna finance expensive projects through an incentive program without adding new debt to the district, and basically finance it by the savings we're going to achieve by the energy efficiency project. So it's a common program in the state. It's going to be discussed with the new finance committee when they form after the reorg meeting. But we also wanted to bring it for discussion to the board tonight because this is something likely that we're going to have to move forward with, and we want to get as much input as possible too on what things matter in that subset. Because at the end of the day, there's probably $2 million worth of work we could do energy efficiency related. This program will probably only finance about $1 million of it. There's a bunch of parameters around it, but likely they're only gonna get $1 million, and there's only $1 million we can throw through the program. So we have to make some decisions and prioritize some of that work.
Are there any questions about that? I know Mr. Balone has an understanding of that because he's done it before, and Mrs. Palin loves energy savings. So any other questions on ESIP? And more information will follow on that. The last thing we have is a reminder, reorg, for those that will be here, will be January 3rd at 4:45 in this room, and we will be welcoming Mr. Jonathan Zimmerman and Mrs. Debbie Januzzi to the board. So we're excited about that. There were no questions on the district website, and we have a president's update. Okay.
Sorry. Moving on, recommend motion to approve finance items A through U. Make a motion. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker? Mr. Balone?
Yep.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Facilities, recommend motion to approve facilities item A. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Balone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Technology items, recommend motion to approve technology item A. Make a motion.
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Balone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin? Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to new business, we do have some new business to discuss. Recommend motion to amend the agenda to approve the following recommendations of the superintendent of schools, Darcy Gorman, part-time special education paraprofessional, 5 days without pay, on 1/7/2019 through 1/11/2019. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Balone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin? Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Personnel, recommend motion to approve personnel items 1 through 8.
Motion.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Balone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under HIB, recommend motion to approve harassment, intimidation, and bullying cases as per executive session. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Can I have the motion again? My apologies. Do I do it first and second?
Matt is first, for the,
Who was second? Thank you. All right. Mr. Becker?
abstain.
Mr. Balone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
And confirming that Mr. Becker is abstaining, he was not in executive, so he's abstaining from the vote there.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Policy and procedures, recommend motion to approve policies and procedures items A through E. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Balone?
Yes.
Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Molesky?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Informational items, the following items are being presented for informational purposes. Moving on to public comment. The floor is now open to the public. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express with each statement made by a participant limited to 3 minutes as cited in policy number 0167. There's a sign-in sheet podium located on the podium. Please sign in before you speak. We're now open to the public. Yes, Pat.
Do we have any details on the shared business services agreement
charge a salary, hourly split?
So it's an as-needed basis, and what it is, it's basically, aside from the hours that anyone in the business office is working during the day, they're doing things at the night, on the weekends. It's primarily Mrs. Facemeyer right now, and she's getting $62 an hour, right, Nick? $62.50?
No, we bill Pineland $65 an hour for business services that are administered from Little Egg staff.
So this is temporary or?
Yes, this is temporary.
Until you get.
Until everything's ironed out with the shared agreement with the BA.
Okay, and then I have another question, just, Mr. Troy Henderson is getting a stipend of $6,000, what for?
Mr. Henderson has been getting that. You missed some meetings, Ms. Johnson, we haven't seen you. No, it's okay. He's been getting that because he's been taking on some extra work in light of the fact that he's the only administrator in the building temporarily. So that also is as needed. If that situation changes, then he wouldn't be receiving that stipend. And that's over a 3-month period. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Kristen Snyder, 7 Living Drive. I had a question regarding, since the case has been settled with Ms. Cummings, and those rec documents have been reported, is there a time frame when we expect her to return, or was there one given?
We can't comment on personal items.
But it has been settled, right? So it's an indefinite time that she's been granted, or we just have to
You
sit
don't,
and...
employees have to be riced, so at this time.
Well,
you
we
have to
can't
discuss it.
comment on a personal item.
I know, okay, if you have, so we have no time frame is what you're stating at this point, since this was, I do believe it was settled in October.
We can't comment on a personal item.
Cute. Sorry, Jody Platty. I'm here to report for the PTO of Little Egg Harbor. Good evening, board members. The PTO Executive Board would like to keep you up to date on our recent actions and objectives. We held our 2nd annual Designer Bag Bingo in November, and it was a great success. Many thanks to all the volunteers and bakers who came out to help us. We also held our annual Milk and Cookies with Santa event on November 30th. It was a fun-filled night with crafts, games, holiday stories, and goodies for our students and families. Many thanks to our teachers, staff, and administrators who came out to help us make it extra special and spread some holiday cheer. We are also thankful to our very favorite Santa for joining us and taking pictures with our students. This month, we started our holiday shops at Frog Pond and the George Mitchell schools. It was so wonderful to help all the children shop for special gifts for their loved ones. Holiday shops at the ECC began today and will continue through Wednesday of this week. Thank you to all the volunteers who came out to help our students shop. The PTO delivered donations for new recess equipment to all 3 of our schools, and we are currently shopping for our program and nurses donations as well. We are also sponsoring the Joe Holiday Assemblies for our schools this year. In January, we'll be having our very popular father-daughter dance. On January 25th from 6 to 8. There was a typo in our newsletter, we apologize. It's Friday, January 25th will be the father-daughter dance. This is always a well-attended event, and we look forward to this special night with our students. We will have a DJ, a photo booth, and other treasures available for our attendees. The PTO Executive Board would like to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season and a wonderful new year. Our next PTO public meeting will be Tuesday, January 15th at 7 p.m. in this room.
Thank you.
I'll give this back to you. Trina Riegelman, the Energy technology manager for the district. I just want to give you an update on that Trex contest that we have.
I'm gonna get the checkbook.
Now, we've only done November's, and we've already dropped that stuff off at the Acme. It's actually pretty cool. Acme wants us to bring the kids that are working on it and the adults and have some pictures taken one of these times we go. We are already well over 330 pounds district-wide. Frog Pond has 216 pounds. The ECC has 31.5 pounds, and Mitchell has 88 pounds. We're going to make 500 before the new year, just so you know. So we're looking forward to winning this. We're in competition, not with each other, because of the numbers. It's all based on numbers. So our schools are all in separate categories, which is really cool. So we could actually wind up with 3 benches. And if we make over 500, we're going to wind up with 6 benches because somebody's going to make us some benches. So I'm looking so forward to that. Okay, that's all I wanted to tell you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak?
Thank you.
Moving on, board forum. Dr. Gross.
Certainly thank everyone for the different reports, because I learned a lot every time I'm at a board meeting. Certainly want to congratulate Ann and her staff for the certification and retention. I'll presume that Mr. Brown's going to be correct looking into the crystal ball, but I'll say first, not getting recommendations and that way, certainly to you and Melissa and business office is something to be proud of. Hope everybody has a happy and safe holiday season.
Thank you. Mrs. Palin.
I wanted to thank Ann Flynn for the information she gave us on the certification, because I find myself as one of the few members of the community, and at the moment, the only female member of the board, that gets asked questions about the early childhood programs. Since it isn't something that's statewide, we're kind of unique in a way. So people frequently, my circle of people, ask me about, oh, it's just a babysitting service. When I can give them the kind of information we just got from Ann as to what the qualifications are of the people that work in the program, they'll be pretty quick to see that it's not just, as they put it, a babysitting service. I'm very proud of our ECC program, as well as the rest of the grade. And I don't know if anybody else knows, but most of the students in the month and stuff like that are all ladies. Now we know where the women are coming from that are getting into areas like our state government, things like that. So I think our school is really, really preparing the young people today for what they're going to have to deal with when they're beyond our school and into the working world. And I'm very, very proud of that.
Thank you very much. Ms. Moncrief, anything? No. Okay. Vice President.
Yes, I'd like to say it's been an honor working with Jim and Matt on a mission, and wish everybody a happy holiday season.
Mr. Becker. Hold you guys.
To the end. Well, first off, I'd like to thank everybody for the presentations tonight. Congratulations to the students of the month. And then I'd also like to say thank you to the board for a pleasant 3 years. I think we worked very, very well together. So I am going to miss everybody on the board here. I want to say to everybody in the school district, thank you. My daughter and my son are getting a fantastic education here. I would really, really like to thank the teachers, the administrators, and so forth. And that's it. I met a lot of nice people, and I worked with a lot of unique people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, it was bittersweet tonight, definitely, absolutely.
Thank you, as always, to our volunteers of the month. Thank you to our congratulations to our students of the month, and congratulations also to our student presenters from both schools. They did an outstanding job, men and women alike. It's been an honor to serve on the board for the past 8 years. It has been a tremendous learning experience for me, a real eye-opener, and I think perhaps the greatest lesson that I've learned is that the people of Little Egg Harbor have reason to be very proud of the school. Elementary school. There's a lot of dedicated professionals working here, and it's been an honor to serve with them. And there's a lot of dedicated board members as well. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with everyone on the board. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to miss coming here. Part of me is going to miss coming here, once a month and sitting down, and part of me is not going to miss coming here once a month and sitting down with everybody.
You know you're going to miss the cookies.
That's right, and I will miss the cookies, absolutely. So thank you again.
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Congratulations to the students of the month, the presenters. Congratulations. Is it over?
Yes, thank you.
I forgot your name. My apologies. John, okay, it's easy. It was a pleasure. It's been a joy working with both of you guys. I think we worked out a lot of work and a lot of things accomplished over the last 3 years. That was 8 years for you. You said 9 year terms? Oh, that's right. The first one.
Plus.
That's right. It's been a joy working with you, and I learned a lot, and I really do rely a lot on your expertise as teachers and administrators on how this board functions. So I really appreciate your time. That's pretty much it. We have a motion for adjournment.
Sorry.